No, freestyle, not drum like a slave.
It's the J&J podcast here to talk some sports. Maybe hit a
All
little
right, all right, you guys ready?
Come on, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, Lyle, count me down.
5.
I can't see you, idiot.
4.
Retard.
Good.
Count to 5 and then go.
Yep.
And Nick, stop making fart noises with your mouth.
Pause. Lyle? Earth to Lyle?
Count to 5 and then go, sir.
Oh, you
Silence
just want
on
me
the
to
set.
Right,
Yeah, just quiet on the set.
Yeah.
Count to 5 and then you eat. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of J&J Talk Sports Podcast. Happy New Year, everybody. It's been a couple of weeks since we got together, Lyle, Nick, and I, talk some sports to give you guys some new content. We took some time off for the holidays, so I hope you all enjoyed your special days, your Christmas, your New Year's, and all that other stuff. Joining me this week, like every other week, one of my two overly large-sized co-hosts. Lyle, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great. I got a lot of big news, big announcements. I think I've calmed down over the past few weeks, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get too wild today. But knowing you guys, you're going to get me going. And speaking of people that get me going wild on sports, is none other than Nick the Greek. Nick, how are you today?
Oh, damn, while I get you wild, I get you going wild, huh? Okay. No, how you doing, guys? It's been a while. Been about 2.5, 3 weeks. A lot of stuff went down those weeks. We have a lot to talk about today, so hopefully we can get it in a nice compact pod today. Again, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at StefanoN. That's STEPHANOUN.
Yep, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at easypolizzi_21. That's easy, POLIZZI_21. Also, make sure to follow our podcast page on Instagram and Twitter at JNJ Talk Sports. That's at JNJ Talk Sports. Lyle, where can the lovely listeners of the world follow you on Twitter and or Instagram?
They can follow me on Twitter at LylesStyle, LYLESSTYLE, as always. And I think we should just, dive right into some sports.
Right, Lyle. But I'm curious, how was your New Year's? Did you have fun?
I had an excellent New Year's. As people who watch our YouTube can see, my webcam is broken due to my New Year's extravaganzas. But a big event happened between now and then, and it brings me into my first topic: soccer, the world's most beautiful game. We will have a reporter in the field for the majority of Red Bull's home game. It's your boy Lyle Style. He's now a Red Bull season ticket holder, and he will be going to many of the games to cheer on New York's finest. But in other news, in European
typical New Yorker spending money on garbage.
Yeah, true. Well, they were the best player in the East and had the most points at the end of the regular season, but you call it garbage, I call it excellence. But moving on to European soccer, because the MLS does not start until March, which I'm dumb hype for. We have the Champions League round of 16. Almost every single matchup is tasty. We have Man U, PSG, Tottenham, Dortmund, Liverpool, Bayern, and Atletico Madrid, Juventus as the premier showpieces of the round of 16. Again, Man City's up against Schalke, Real Madrid against Ajax, Barcelona against Lyon. Those are going to be pretty clear-cut and straightforward. The other interesting round that might not have the big showpiece names of today, Porto-Roma, will be a very interesting tie. So there's really only 2 ties that are obvious. The rest, 3 ties that are obvious. The rest of them are going to be excellent. They kick off February 12th with their first leg. So get excited for that.
Kind of ironic how both Real Madrid and Barcelona kind of have jokes of a team to verse in the first round.
UEFA Lona. I'm not surprised Barcelona got a joke, but I'm excited. What matchup are you excited for the most, Justin?
Well, to be a homer, it has to be the Juventus one. I mean, they played the second leg is actually going to be on my birthday, in February. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Maybe I'll try to duck out of work early and go catch that game
date
somewhere.
is that? What date is that?
That's February 20th.
That's their first leg.
That's their first leg. Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
So I'm looking very, very, very excited for that matchup. But I mean, the Liverpool Bayern one should be a definitely good.
Yeah, Byron's on a down year. Liverpool's looking. They're looking.
The offense is looking sick.
So most of the time they're looking good. But Nick, how about you? Which game are you going to pretend to care about?
Absolutely none of them.
We'll bring you over to the good side one day. But we're going to move on from soccer, and we're going to talk about someone who's on a lot of drugs, John Jones. And yes, that's how I'm going to start off. Nick, tell us about your
boy,
your buddy, your pal, your drug addict, John Jones.
It's crazy to see how the years have been flying. I remember watching John Jones like 5-6 years ago before like all this drama in the news coming around. He was obviously one of the most prolific fighters in the UFC. He's just coming off of a fight against Alexander Gustafsson, and he beat him with a technical knockout in the third round. He was looking very strong. Kicks, obviously, the way he used to. He looks like he's getting back into his old form. Now he has a fight coming up that people are already seeing him as the favorite. And a lot of people are not necessarily confused, but it's against Anthony Smith, and he's already being regarded as.
Do you know Smith's record?
He is 31-13-0.
31-13. Damn,
yeah,
that's a lot of fights and a lot of losses.
It is. And John Jones is 23-1, and of course his fight count's a little lower than usual because he's been in and out of jail.
And when are they fighting this?
They're fighting in Las Vegas, Nevada on March 2nd.
Wow. That's
Will they have to move the fight again like they did last time because drugs showed up in John Jones's bloodstream? My vote is yes. Absolutely.
Let's hope
not.
Lyle has this
John
crazy
Jones,
theory right
John
now.
Jones and Josh Gordon are the same person. Ultra talented people that can't stop doing drugs.
That's so bad. And Josh Gordon is supposed to be your boy.
He is my boy, but he still doesn't stop doing drugs.
Are you officially done with him? Will you officially stop defending him?
As a football player or as a person? Because as a person, I will love him unconditionally forever, as I do all people. As a football player, he's done in the league, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. At least you can finally admit that.
Well, at least you guys will have to stop people. You'll never hear about it again until next season when I still draft him with the last round.
I'm sure you'll find a way. Exactly. You'll find a way.
I still draft Terrell Pryor every year. But
man, Terrell Pryor, man, what a gem he was for fantasy his rookie year for me.
God, throwback.
The good old days where he played for the Raiders. Anyways, let's go on here, and I want to talk about some college basketball actually, because apparently Zion thinks that people think that he's just a dunker. He can't do anything else. He can't shoot. He can't play defense. He can't assist. He can't rebound. I mean, he kind of proved them wrong yesterday. He had like what 10 rebounds, 6 assists,
30, 10, and 5, I think it was.
Yeah, 3 steals. He had an amazing game. What do you guys think about that?
No, he played.
He's never been regarded as a terrific athlete. We can't take that away from him.
I'll never knock him.
There are the doubts.
Yeah, I'll never knock him for his rebounding. I'll never knock him for his defense. I'll never knock him for his effort. His jump shot needs work. He can admit that.
I mean, he had 2 for 3 threes also.
He needs to be a little bit more consistent. He's better than Ben Simmons shooting. But that's not saying much.
I mean, come on, yeah. I mean, I could shoot better. Again, I could shoot better with my left than Ben Simmons could shoot with his left.
Wait, can I throw in a fun fact real quick?
Absolutely.
It came to my attention like 2 weeks ago. I've never even noticed this. Ben Simmons, since he's entered the league, has only shot 1 3-pointer in his career.
Oh,
can we all just
like a heave
let that settle in?
He's the rich man's Michael Carter Williams, and I'm sticking by that.
No, Michael Carter Williams got at least knocked down a freaking 10-foot jumper.
No, but what I'm saying, like, they're both slashers. That's all they can do. But
oversized guards.
Zion, I think the one thing that we're going to see when he comes into the NBA next year, we're going to see how he deals with people that can actually match his physicality, and that's where we're going to see some interesting stuff. But Zion, in college, it's Zion's world. We're kind of just living in it. Not to mention RJ Barrett.
Before we get into like some teams that are actually being a little impressive, or some teams that have been disappointing this season thus far in college basketball, I want to ask you guys something. So there's been, you know how in the MLB you can get drafted right out of high school, but if you choose not to go into the MLB or whatever system they plan to put you on, you have to do 3 years of college. Do you think a rule like that would go well for the NBA? Do you think, like, you know what, you could draft kids out of high school? Zion would have been drafted out of high school had that rule still been in place, but you could get drafted out of high school, or you have to do at least 2 years of college. So you choose what you want to do. You think that'll be a solution to the problems that we have right now?
I think the solution is going to be the G League is going to be the NBA's NCAA. They're going to be like, okay, teams can draft them, put them on your farm team for a year, and then you can bring them up. I think that's where we're going to head. They come out of
they don't have to go to college. They could straight out of high school.
Straight out of high school, go to the G League, but they can't come to the NBA.
Yeah, but then if you draft freshmen the next year, I feel like you're gonna have too much of an abundance of players.
Yep, but I think I agree. But I think that's what the,
because let's be honest, the quality of NBA players is it sucks. It really does. I mean, there's 2 rounds, 30 teams, right? So, 60 picks? And out of those 60 picks, maybe 3 of them are in the NBA like 5 seasons later. It's like the NBA is really bad when it comes to the quality of talent that comes from the college level to the professional level.
Well, I think, again, injuries play a factor, undrafted people play into a factor, but I think by giving them another year to develop in the G League, or forcing them to do 1 more year somewhere else, I think it does help them grow and it will grow the product, because it's not like in the G League you're going to be competing against scrubs. They're trying to build it into the AAA of the of basketball, and AAA baseball is nothing to scoff at. And I think that's where we're going to be heading towards, but we'll see, because I think that's what the NBA wants. The NCAA doesn't want that because they want their money, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, quote unquote. Apparently, there's not enough money to pay college athletes, but I digress. Nick, you want to give me one of your impressive teams thus far for the college basketball season?
I'm gonna be a little biased. I'm gonna go with St. John's. They've been looking great this year. I mean, they had their 2 tough losses. One being, I think it was at Seton Hall,
which they got robbed.
Yeah, it was a controversial call at the end. Seton Hall hits a buzzer beater 3 to take the lead and win the game. And they just lost more recently to a tough road game at Villanova. But I love the St. John's team. They're playing very well. They have Mustafa Heron, they have LJ Figueroa, and my boy Shamori Pons, who has yet to let me down on any bet that I placed on St. John's. Let me look at these stats real quick. They're 13th in the nation in scoring. They're 22nd points per game, 34th in field goal percentage, 10th in 3-point percentage. So points come early and often for this team. And this offense, I think, can propel them going forward, and they maybe be a threat going into the March Madness tournament.
Lyle, what about you? You have a team that you have in mind right now that's been very impressive thus far?
I mean, again, it's not a shocker team, and again, I'm not going to talk about Buffalo. They speak for themselves. They don't need me. They don't need me. They do it on the court. But I do want to talk about Tennessee. Again, Tennessee, they were talked about, but they weren't as hyped as the Dukes of the world, as the Virginias, as the Gonzagas, as the North Carolinas of the world. But as we're seeing, they are doing great stuff. They have 2 players averaging 18 points per game, in Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. Sir. They are a well-rounded team, and I'm happy to see Tennessee, back here after Bruce Pearl, was unceremoniously discharged. So I think they're a fun team to watch. Again, they're no Duke, they're no Gonzaga, they're not a sexy team, but they're going to be a fun team to watch going down the stretch.
Yeah, and going back to Nick, what you said about St. John's, I mean, we have to give some credit where credit's due, and Chris Mullin has done a great job for this team. I mean, as we all know, we talked about this on the podcast actually last year when we first started, dropping episodes and dropping some heat. We talked about this. We love the the Mullin signing because this is a Brooklyn guy, who's played in college at St. John's. Okay, he played in the NBA, and now he's coaching. He's coaching them, and I love it. I love it. I think this is exactly what St. John's needs. This is exactly what you were talking about. How St. John's needs to recruit and get people from their own backyard, right? And get people who want to play basketball and be a good program. And that's what they did with Mullins. They brought him in as a coach, and look, New York grown. So exactly. And I think I'm not much of a St. John's fan, to be honest, but it's good to see that we have a top basketball team in the city of New York where basketball is king, and it's St. John's doing it. Top 24 team, top 25 team ranked.
I want an excuse to go to Madison Square Garden to see St. John's basketball.
That'd be awesome.
They're giving me an excuse. They're playing well. But I kind of want to move on to disappointing teams, as much because you know how much I love ragging on teams, and I do want to talk about one team, the University of North Carolina.
Ooh.
This freshman class coming into college was one of the most highly regarded freshman classes. To name a few, R.J. Barrett, Bol, Zion Wilson, and Nasir Little. Now, you guys might not know the name Nasir Little because he has been mediocre. But he, according to several sports outlets, let me just pull up, according to 24/7 and Rivals, they both had Nasir Little ranked higher than Bol and Zion.
Okay.
He's been mediocre. UNC has been mediocre. This is a team that had an excellent incoming freshman class. And they have the same coach they've had every year. And they're coasting. They should be dominating teams. And it just 3 losses at this point in the season is just unacceptable.
Wow. If I had $1 for every time I was disappointed in a top 25 team ranked number 12, I would have probably $0 because it's hard to be disappointed by a team who's ranked 12th. Lyle, I mean, you gotta give them a break here.
I don't think they're fairly. Obviously, I don't think they're fairly ranked. I think they're getting it on pedigree at 12.
Exactly. No, I can see that. See, for me, my disappointed team here, and it goes. It's kind of like a dual threat here. I'm gonna call out the California teams here. So you called out UNC. I'm calling out UCLA, and I'm calling out USC. UCLA and USC both missed the tournament last year. UCLA was actually one of the first 4 in, so they actually had to play. They actually had to win a game in order to get into the tournament. They lost that one chance. USC actually didn't make it to the tournament last year. They made it to the NIT, in which they got bounced in the first round. So I think these California universities, USC and UCLA, yes, USC is known more for football, but they've had teams year in and year out who've competed and players who've gone to the NBA. So I'm surprised that both these teams are outside the top 60 according to the NCAA college basketball team rankings. So I'm surprised that both these teams are not playing better to start the season, despite the disappointing seasons that both of them had last year.
I'm surprised you're not just destroying Pac-12 basketball. The entirety of the Pac-12 is awful. Arizona, again, we know what happened to them. They were caught up in all the FBI scandals, but there is no good team out of the Pac-12. There's many a mid-major I'd put above every single team in the Pac-12. So I'm with you on that, but I feel like the Pac-12 is destroying themselves enough on the court.
The Pac-12 has I'm trying to go to their standings right now. The Pac-12 has Oregon in it, no?
Without Bol.
Yeah, they do. And
Bol. And it was funny. Oregon was going to be one of my teams I was going to mention as a disappointment too. So it goes without saying, Lyle, you're basically correct. Like the whole Pac-12 has been trash. But I was going to call out Oregon actually too.
I mean, they were getting disappointing even before they lost Bol. And now without him, they're absolutely
but look at this. The whole state of California, that whole side is just horrible. California is 5-9. Cal University.
Yeah, in the bottom of the division.
Yeah, they're on the bottom, and then you got Oregon. So that whole West Coast,
that whole conference
of university. They're
that's a mid-major conference. not the
Yeah,
MAC.
I could still see Arizona coming back just because of who they are. Oregon always finds their way in a tournament, but I don't know. This division is trash. Nick, what about you? Is there a specific team you want to call out for being trash to start the season?
I mean, I guess I can go with Purdue. Purdue coming into the season was the top. I think they were ranked top 25 team. They were like either 23 or 24. They just haven't been looking this good. Granted, their schedule has been one of the toughest. I think 24/7 Sports had them as like the 10th toughest schedule in college basketball. Their losses being to Michigan State, who I think is undefeated. They got destroyed by Michigan. I think they lost to Virginia Tech, so on and so forth. But they only have one player. Well, I think they have two players in double digits. One player in Edwards, who has been an absolute beast this year. Don't get me wrong, but he is literally the only person with any offensive productivity on the team. They just don't look good. And at 9-6, it's just a terrible season for them.
I actually remember a specific someone in this very, very YouTube live chat group actually predicted Purdue to go all the way last year to win the NCAA tournament.
That was when they had Caleb Sweat. They had a very good team that all got drafted. So
you're not denying it.
Didn't they make it to the Elite Eight or something?
Yeah, they had a good run, but they should have gone farther.
So apparently news has come out. I don't know. I don't remember who tweeted it. Actually, if you guys bear with me for maybe 2 seconds, I could definitely get it. So a tweet came out from John Heyman. As we all know, he's a Yankee boy, verified on Twitter and all that. He works for a lot of networks. He came out and he when it comes to the Yankees, he's a big deal. Yeah, he came out and he tweeted. This was 6:30 p.m. today. Now we're recording on January 9th. So this came out January 9th, 6:30 p.m. He tweeted this out. Can't confirm Yankees are out. There's no word. They've been told this at least. But as said, they haven't engaged in negotiations lately or made an official offer. Apparently, they aren't.
You never named the player.
They aren't meeting the believed 325 million plus target, or even 300 million, or even coming especially close. This is in regards to Manny Machado. So the Yankees are not even close to offering him 300 mil yet. That 300 to the 325 range is exactly where he's going to get offered from other teams. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but we're out on Machado. I don't see us getting him at all.
Fine. Let him waste away in some Californian desert. Let him rot.
But can you even get mad at Machado? We haven't even made an official offer to him. You can't blame him for choosing.
If I'm Manny Machado, I maximize my value. But do you know where you maximize your value the most, especially in terms of marketing and endorsements? New York. But you know what?
Yeah,
if he doesn't come, let him rot.
It doesn't seem like we're off. So if the number is 30, that means he's going to get 300 mil for 10 years. You mean and the Yankees aren't going to offer him 30. That means they're going to offer him like 25. But not only are they offering him 25, but they're going to offer him half the amount of years as well. I'm sorry, I don't think Manny Machado passes up on $100 million playing for another team.
He does not, and
you can't blame him for that.
I'm not blaming him, but let him rot elsewhere. We have a good enough team.
So what do you think we do then? I mean, we're still without Didi for the rest of the season.
Again,
the rest of the season, unless he magically comes back stronger.
I mean, there's another man that's still out and around and out and about. There's still a lot of free agents out there. Again, we might not get the premier.
We signed Tulowitzki, which it didn't make any sense to me. But we get Tulowitzki, 8 years too late? We should have had him a long time ago. Good thing we didn't because he stunk. But what are we gonna do? We still need another second baseman if you're gonna put Torres at short, right? Or is Bird and Voit going to be the answers at first base? We just have so many questions that haven't been answered this offseason. It's been a very slow offseason in general because both Machado and Bryce Harper haven't even discussed offers. Like there's no rumors about anything about them either of them signing yet. But anyways, I'm actually excited. Race season is upon us. Do you guys watch anything like NASCAR related at all?
You know, if I want to watch a couple of vehicles go around in the circle, I'll just sit on my little balcony and watch the Belt Parkway. I do watch the road races of Formula One where they have all the turns and they do like really shifty turns and then flip and almost die every time. I'll watch that because that requires a little bit more skill than turning left 4 times. I get. Don't get me wrong. I get the appeal of NASCAR. It's just not for me.
What about you, Nick? You watch any of these races? Do you catch yourself watching like maybe a couple of laps and then just get tired of it?
You know what? If I want to watch people racing around, I would join Lyle in his balcony. We would watch the cars go around and around.
Bring Vin Diesel over, pop a Corona.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to go to one of these events, just to watch it live.
But if going is a completely different experience.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I would love to go, and I would think I would even enjoy myself just watching them drive in circles for hours. But it's crazy. Like, how can one person really just sit on a couch for like what 580 something laps? That's like, I feel like that's so boring.
I'm hoping they have friends over and they're playing games. Like I can't envision just one dude with a pack of like Bud Light or Natty Ice just pounding them while watching NASCAR by himself. That's the most depressing image I can think of.
Yeah, you see that left turn?
Yeah, how many exciting? Well, there's only left turns.
Yeah. Bro, that left turn was sick.
Totally which one? Drift, dude.
Which left turn? Which left turn was good, bro? I don't know, man. I can't watch it. I mean, like I said, I'll watch a couple of laps of it. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that the start of the 2019 season is starting February 16th in Daytona. For the Daytona Speedway, Daytona International Speedway, the first race of the season. So it should be pretty exciting. I'm actually going to Florida at the ending of February. I would have loved for this event to have been during that time. I would have loved to have maybe gone and see that in person. It would have been something cool. So we had the national championship that was this week on Monday. It was between number 1 ranked Alabama against number 2 ranked Clemson. Clemson destroyed Notre Dame in the playoff semifinal matchup. Sorry, Nick, just had to say that. And Alabama won, what was it, a 10-point game against Oklahoma?
Yeah, but it was a much bigger gap than 10 points.
It was. Oklahoma scored a touchdown with like, what, a minute left?
Yeah, so. Alabama just literally... They took Oklahoma's will to live in the first half.
Did you guys see what's his face, the quarterback for Oklahoma?
Kyler Murray. Did
you see him after the game? It looked like he just came out of like he just got jumped. Like he just came out of a fight.
He got abused.
He did get abused. I mean, he's 6 feet, 190 pounds, man. He's a baseball player, man. He's not a football player. I think he chose the right profession, if you ask me. So let's talk about the game here, fellas. It was 44-16. Clemson absolutely destroyed Alabama, the team that we all thought was high and mighty, possibly the best Alabama team to ever have played, with the offensive juggernaut that they were, with Tua Tagovailoa at the quarterback position for them on offense. What did you guys think about the game, Nick?
I mean, it was an impressive game, to say the least. Granted, I did have my money on Alabama. It was a big mistake. But
no, you bet the first half and second half.
Yeah, your fault. But anyway,
says the degenerate gambler.
I lied. I ended up breaking even. Nonetheless, what impressed me the most was how Clemson just came ready to play. Man, that offensive line was beast, for lack of better words. Against a team like Alabama, who's like basically known for their NFL-ready defense. All these players can be NFL prospect defense. And Isaiah Buggs, Quinnen Williams, Christian Miller, like all these guys are close to double-digit sack players. And I don't think there was a single sack on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, they didn't get any sacks on him at all, actually.
He was barely touched. And even on the plays where they were ready to get a 300-pound body on him, he threw a dime down the middle for a touchdown. It was unreal. Like, congratulations, Clemson. Obviously, I always want Alabama to lose, but no, it was an impressive game.
What about you, Lau? Did you have a dog in the fight this national championship game?
No, I didn't have a dog in the fight. I just wanted a good game, and we got a very entertaining game, absolutely. But this just goes to show. This game just goes to show there are 2 college football teams in varsity. And then there's everyone else. The past 4 years have been dominated. Well, the past 10 years have been dominated by Alabama, but the past 4 years have been dominated by Clemson and Alabama. And then there is everyone else.
No, I would put Ohio State in that conversation as
well. What did they? Who's been in? Who did they win? What did they win?
They won a national
They
championship
beat Oregon 4 years ago.
No,
4 years ago.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this up.
Ezekiel Elliott.
#fraud.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Who did they play?
Oregon.
Oh, I know what Lyle's doing here. How could I forget? You're making fun of Stephen A. Smith right now, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith's garbage. But Alabama, these past 2 years especially, thank you for casting it. These past 2 years especially, Alabama and Clemson have just shown that they are the most dominant college football teams. And then there's everyone else. Ohio State is not what it once was.
Oh, we're not going to mention the appearances by Notre Dame?
No, we're not going to. I'm sorry. How did Notre Dame do? How did Notre Dame do? They got desecrated. They got Dame ripped out of them, and now they're just Notre. Nobody knows who they are. They got absolutely crushed.
Is Alabama just Allah?
No, Alabama deserved to be there. They proved that against a very good Oklahoma team.
Wait, what was the bowl game that Buffalo played in this year?
The Papa John. No, I'm just kidding. It was the Dollar General, Dollar Store, Wu-Tang Clan Financial, Chappelle Show, Key and Peele, 1% off milk, Tallahassee Bowl. I have no idea. It was a trash bowl.
I'm trying to find it out. It was
a Dollar General Bowl.
The Dollar General Bowl. Oh my God. I never heard of that before. I think they created that this year just for you guys.
No, we played in that before. So for the record,
play bowl games.
No. So firstly, I was right. The past 4 titles were Alabama, Clemson, Alabama, Clemson. 5 years ago, Ohio State won. So
I said that the first playoffs. First playoffs.
Oh God! 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Cry me a river.
The past 4 years have been dominated by Alabama and Clemson. No one else can touch them, and that's kind of a problem. But this also goes to show
what makes them so much better because of what they're doing, or their recruiting is different. Maybe the water that they feed them is better than ours.
Nick Saban's doing Nick Saban things. He's been doing it for 10 years. But Dabo Swinney might be the second best. Dabo Swinney might be the second best or tied for best coach in the NCAA in recruiting. In the team he's built, he's done amazing things. And do you know where he came from? Do you know where he derived his skills from? Alabama, where he was a football player. Because Alabama always wins because they sold their souls to the devil. But it was a great game. And I just want to give a big shout out to Justin Ross. Those catches were redonkulous. And
his first name is Justin. What do you expect?
Yeah, come to the Jets because half our receiving core is going to be suspended before the season starts.
Oh, we'll definitely get into that a little bit later. So you just think just because Justin Ross, that's why Clemson was able to defeat Alabama? Let's see how long it takes for him to speak.
Clemson outcoached them. Clemson outplayed them. The Clemson quarterback just played
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. Sorry, he played like a senior in a freshman's body. It was a complete, total victory. There was no weakness in Clemson that day.
Yep, no weakness at all. They absolutely dominated. Trevor Lawrence was 20 of 32 for passing, 347 yards for 3 touchdowns. He had a QBR 92.8, while his counterpart Tua Tagovailoa was 22 of 34 for 295 yards for 2 touchdowns and 2 very, very bad interceptions. I want to talk about that first interception because I think I know it's easy to say that was the turning point of the game, but I felt like that play right there allowed Clemson to have the confidence to win this game. Clemson got the ball first. I don't know if you guys remember. They went 3 and out on their first drive, and Alabama ended up getting the ball. They get 2 first downs, and you're thinking, oh, damn, here we go. Alabama stopped us. They're doing some dinks and dumps. There's running the ball up the middle, and Alabama's just going to punch them right down the mouth. And look, Clemson was able to pick off a pass, bring it 60 yards to the house to go up 7-zip, and I think that play right there just changed the whole attitude of the game going forward. And Tua ends up throwing another pick. So He ends up actually getting benched. Like halfway through the fourth quarter, Jalen Hurts came in, had like a couple of drives. It didn't make any difference. For me, aside from Tua turning the ball over, I think one of the best things that Clemson was able to do, and Nick mentioned it before, was the offensive line play. I thought them protecting was awesome. I thought the way that they were protecting was amazing. But here's the key for me. You guys know what RPO is, right? When someone calls an RPO play, it's a run pass option. Alabama that's the key. That's what makes Tua so great. He runs the run pass option, the RPO play, so well, where he can give it to the running back who's going to go for 5-6 yards. He can keep it and run himself, or he can scramble out and do like a quick pass. What Clemson did, what their DBs did on Monday, was they played press coverage all across the board. They didn't care if it was 3rd and 50 and they needed 50 yards to get the first down. They still play press coverage because they know that Tua is not the type of quarterback that's going to throw 60 yards down the field. He's more of a 5 yards and hitch, 5-yard slant, 3-yard slant, and they were able to stop that. And I mean, look, we have a new national championship champion, and not only that, but Nick Saban doesn't get crowned the best college football coach of all time just yet. So we get to delay that for at least another year. Do you guys even think that Saban's in the conversation for the best college football coach of all time?
Yes.
You think he's there already, or he's just right behind Bear?
I think he's in the conversation, absolutely.
I think he's right behind Bear, if he's not the best already.
Which means he's in the conversation.
I'd say he's probably the best.
Do you guys agree with the fact that Justin Herbert's staying for another year?
It's his choice. I don't.
He would have been the first quarterback taken without a doubt this year.
I'm not sure what his reasoning is, but he has to have a reason. Maybe he wants that degree, or maybe he
could always go back to school to get it.
Or maybe he doesn't like the teams he's going to be drafted to.
He would have been drafted to the Giants, bro. That's impossible.
Yeah, he definitely would not have liked that. Have fun with Dwayne Haskins, bro. Have fun with Dwayne Haskins.
Nick, what about Dwayne Haskins? How do you feel about him declaring for the draft?
I mean, I expected it. He's probably he is the best quarterback coming out. But again, I'm not really that high on many of the quarterbacks coming out anyway.
Well, Kyler Murray might still announce that he's coming out. He's still debating it.
I think it'd be very stupid of him to do that.
The Giants will take him.
The Giants will not take him.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
The Giants would not take him at all. Not even close there, my friend. Let's talk about James Harden. What do you guys think about what he's been able to do lately? He has averaged 40 points
He's been killing
in the last 30 days. So that's what, maybe 15 games you figure they play? 16 games they probably played.
About 3 a week. About 3 a week.
So he 40 points averaging in those 30 days.
Do you know what his shot count is?
No.
I'm asking you.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I could probably pull that up as I'm talking about him, but it's been amazing what he's been able to do with Chris Paul out. Now, remember, I think it's crazy, right? The last time we recorded how things are, the NBA has been the biggest difference for me since the last time that we recorded. But if you look at like the standings, remember the Rockets were like what 10th?
Yeah, but we knew they'd come back. It's not like
we knew. I mean, the margin between the games back wasn't even that big. But now they're sitting at fifth right now in the West with a 23-16 record, 4 games out of first place. So it's not bad. The Nuggets are still up there though, fellas. The Nuggets are still doing it. But let's stick with Harden. Lyle, tell me about this bad man in James Harden.
I mean, he's doing what he has to do. He's winning. He's putting the team on his back for a portion of the season, keeping themselves afloat because Chris Paul's out. Eric Gordon just came back. Capella's not super offensive. You know, they don't have much in regards of offense outside of him.
Yeah.
He knows it. Like look at tonight's box score. You have, they're playing the Bucks. Harden has 30. Capella has 15. And then it just drops. Like it is what it is.
There's no supporting cast there.
Yeah,
and it's surprising to see even with Chris Paul out how they've been able to even win games. I think didn't they beat Golden State in overtime like last week? A couple
years ago? They were actually down. They were down that game too.
Yeah, they were down about 10. They were down double digits going to the fourth quarter. I think it was.
And then James Harden yeeted in overtime and was like 3 in your face, Draymond.
Did you guys see the Jamal Murray sequence?
I didn't agree on the foul.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a foul either, but just disrespectful.
Yeah, I think
It's so
and
disrespectful.
put the icing on the cake, and then RJ Barrett was like, "Here, James Harden, hold my beer," and then he did it in the Duke game yesterday. So it's been a fun basketball season so far. I
You
think
guys
there's
think
been a lot of surprising teams so far.
you guys think MVP in the running, or
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
I think
Harden
right
has
now,
to be.
yeah, he has to be at least
He has to be in the running.
top 2, top 3. Yeah, he has to be top 2 in the discussion because of what he's been able to do lately. But let's see. I mean, the Rockets, they pretty much more or less did the same thing last year, and then completely botched in Game 7, the Western Conference Finals. I want to give you guys some stats here, which I'm looking at him now. It's very, very impressive actually. Since he joined the Rockets in 2012, James Harden has never averaged less than 6 assists per game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's averaged 9 the last 2 seasons. He averaged 11 in 2016 to 2017. This year, he is averaging 33 points, 33.7 points, or 34 points if you want to round up, which is the most he's ever averaged in his career. The most that he ever averaged before that was 30, which was last year. He's actually on pace to break his 3-point percentage as well, shooting 39% from 3-point range. That's like what Melo would shoot from the field in general when he was a Knick. It's pretty impressive.
Sorry. I've never heard that name before. I don't think we say that name, and we cast him out of our memories.
that's the equivalent of Voldemort. But
Yes, but Voldemort is fictional.
this is sadly very realistic.
So let me hear your thoughts on this. So so what's the better of the conferences
The West.
in the NBA? The West. Okay. Do you think it will stay the way it is now, with the Raptors and the Bucks being the 2 best teams in the NBA? How long do you think this could last?
I think both teams definitely have staying potential. They both have depth. They both have a superstar or 2, and they look fully functioning. The Raptors have more or less the same team as last year, but swap Kawhi for DeRozan.
So
And
it's not the same team.
Which is an improvement, though.
again, anybody who wouldn't say that that's an improvement is on all the drugs, like John
Jones. You're going there.
And the Bucks are finally putting together that young team and make, they only have a year or 2 left to make this run because Giannis is out. Like, he's not staying small market. He knows that. We know that.
Yeah, he's texted me numerous times saying that he's coming to New York. So
good. As long as you're on that trail, him, Durant, and Porzingis playing the 3-4-5 and just spreading the floor, it'll be great. It'll be beautiful. Ben Simmons could play on that team. That's a team that Ben Simmons would thrive on. But
that'll be a tall freaking team.
It's a monster team.
Giraffes everywhere.
But again, we were talking about the Nuggets beginning of the season. The Nuggets are doing what we thought they would. And Jamal Murray and Jokic's chemistry and synergy is literally art. It's the most beautiful thing I've watched in the basketball court in years. And I love it. But I really want them to come out of the West.
Lau, before we move on, what you need to do is you need to get that beep 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 drop. Get ready because I'm about to drop some heat in the next segment. I'm just foreshadowing a little bit for you guys. But what are your thoughts? There we go.
It's testing.
Nick,
what
are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Nick, on the East being having 2 teams representing the 2 top teams in the NBA?
I think it's pretty impressive. We didn't. Again, every year we always expect the East to be just like rolling in, and then the Cavaliers obviously coming out. But now, like, I feel like the whole system has just been shaken up a little bit. We actually have contenders in the East that can fight for a championship. And I just want to give a little shout out to my boy Giannis Antetokounmpo, my Greek brother, future MVP. Now the Bucks are good. Again, Kawhi going to the Raptors has made them, I think, a better team. They were already a good team last year, and Kawhi could be possibly the difference maker, and they look good.
Awesome, yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I still think I think the Raptors are legit. I think they're a much better team this year than they were last year. I think Kawhi is a superstar. I mean, we knew this, and I think him not playing last year, kind of out of sight, out of mind type thing with Kawhi. But if you're a real you don't have to be that educated in the sport of basketball. If you just know basketball, you know Kawhi's a top 5, top 7 player in the NBA, and that's just something that DeMar DeRozan wasn't. Despite, and it hurts me to say it because DeMar DeRozan is actually having a really, really great year in San Antonio. So, but it goes without saying. Let's talk about the All-Star voting here now. Just for those of you that don't know, I don't think the votes are not official yet, right?
So let me break down the All-Star voting. Just for the people out there, the first round of All-Star voting has come out. The fans can still vote, but fans account for 50% of the vote to determine the 10 starters. Media panel accounts for 25%, as well as NBA players count for the other 25%. So in the first round of fan voting, because there's still more fan voting to come, obviously LeBron James has the most votes in the entire out of East and West. Do you want me to go through the list, or how do you want to do this?
I mean, we could just go ahead. I mean, we got LeBron James, Donut.
Yeah, so for the West, you have LeBron James, Luka Doncic, which you guys were like, oh, Lyle making stuff up about Western Conference people again, and you guys got. I expect an apology from both of you on that, for the record.
First of all, you owe us apologies for a lot of other things.
That was a terrible impression as well.
Yeah,
all right, let's
again, so front court: LeBron, Doncic, Durant, Davis, George, Steve Adams, Jokic, Kuzma, Green, Cousins. Guards are Curry, Rose, Harden, Westbrook, Thompson, Lillard, Rosen, Ball, Booker, Paul. Wild. I got beef with all of them. In the East, it's Giannis, Kawhi, Embiid, Butler, Tatum, Griffin, Vince Carter, Drummond, Hayward, Horford for the front court. Guards are Irving, Wade somehow, Walker, Simmons, Oladipo, Lowry, Levine, Jeremy Lin, Beal, and John Wall. Fans, I know you guys love name recognition. I know you guys, you want your people in there. But what is John Wall and Bradley Beal doing there? And I'm the biggest John Wall rabid fan ever.
Wall's going to get replaced. He's out for the season.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be there to begin with. Also, what is Gordon Hayward doing there? Also, what is DeMarcus Cousins doing there? Also,
DeMarcus Cousins is ready
what
for
is
a return.
Lonzo Ball and Devin Booker? Devin Booker's primarily played 10 games. And Lonzo Ball has been objectively mediocre trash.
First of all, it's going to be insanity.
Yeah, first of all, you didn't mention Jeremy Lin as like your
No. So
wild point.
I left that because
Vince Carter got selected.
No, Vince Carter's a legacy. That I'm not surprised by.
That's funny.
But Jeremy Lin, I'm not surprised by because he has an edge on other people that are getting voted for.
And China's 1/7 of the population, so
yeah, I was gonna say he has demographical advantage. So I'm not surprised. But Boston, what are you doing? What's Gordon Hayward doing there? He's been mediocre at best. I don't know. Again, this is the fan vote. That's why I'm happy 50% of the votes by professionals. So we can make sure that we weed out the weak and keep Vince Carter in there because he deserves one last All-Star game. That's my impression.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a joke, to be honest. I mean, I saw, when I was looking at James Harden not voted as a starter, I was like, what the heck is going on here? But it's fan voting. This is what the NBA does. So, I mean, that's pretty much what you kind of have to do. I wanted to talk about the, Tom Thibodeau. He was fired. You guys have any quick thoughts about that? Just kind of saw it coming, right? I think
we'll see you.
Underwhelming.
We'll see you in the Knicks in a year. I can feel it.
Okay. I don't think so. But yeah,
I hope Fizdale's great, but. No,
yeah, Fizdale, I like what Fizdale's doing.
Thibs is going to go to another team, a young team, and he's going to burn them out too. I can't wait.
Real quick. I just got a Bleacher Report update. Another 30-point game for Harden. Harden is the first player since Tracy McGrady in 2013 to put up 14 straight 30-point games, and it's still the third quarter.
Proud of him.
Yeah, actually, the other day, I think he was going for 8 straight. Right, 9 straight games with 40 more, and he finished with 35. I was like, oh damn, that sucks. Since when does scoring 35 points suck? So Cavs are under investigation. Apparently, they signed McGraw from the Warriors and then waived him 2 days later. And the reason why the Cavs are being investigated was because now McGraw is a free agent and the Cavs don't lose any money because they cut him before it became fully guaranteed. And the NBA thinks that they did this despite the Warriors, which if the Cavs did do this, it's a very petty move. I mean, you guys stink. You guys are probably going to be the worst team in the NBA like you did the last time that LeBron left you guys. So kind of weird that the Cavs would even do something so stupid like that. Did you guys hear the Jason Tatum comment about trading himself?
No.
Wasn't it for AD?
Yeah, so you know how
there's rumors, Boston.
Yeah, there's rumors apparently that the Boston Celtics would trade Jason Tatum and of course a couple of others to get Anthony Davis. And Jason Tatum was like, yeah, I would trade myself for Anthony Davis too. I thought that was pretty cool of him to say.
He knows what he's worth. He knows what Anthony Davis is worth.
You're worth a lot. If you're the key piece to an Anthony Davis trade, you're not a bad player.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you're a bad player.
He knows, he understands it's a business, it's a game. He just wants to play, and I respect that.
All right, can I get a drop, please?
Yeah.
Finally, let's talk some NFL. Some news around the league. We had a lot of firings on what was it called? Black Monday, right? In the NFL, we had Todd Bowles, the Jets coach, was fired. He went 10-6 his first year, which was more so thanks to Fitzpatrick than it was Todd Bowles.
Fitzpatrick.
5-11, 5-11, and then this year 4-12. Adam Gase, former Dolphins head coach, fired. Dirk Cutter, Tampa Bay coach, fired. Mike McCarthy, as we all know, fired. Lyle, don't get too excited. Marvin Lewis, finally.
Lewis was. I have a theory on this, a crackpot theory. Marvin Lewis was not fired. He came to a settlement agreement and handed over the blackmail he had on the owners, and he got a lump sum of a couple, $100 million. He had to have had something on them, but I digress. Marvin Lewis, deuces.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I think we need to start making that conspiracy theory a thing. Because I'm fully convinced he had something blackmailish. There's no way he kept that job for that long and stunk as bad as he did.
No, he didn't stink. He was the epitome of mediocrity, which is even worse.
Pretty much. Vance Joseph fired as the Broncos head coach after, I believe, 2 years coaching there. And then Steve Wilkes, poor Steve Wilkes, first year coaching a horrible team in Arizona Cardinals. He's fired as well. So we had a lot of teams here that needed new coaches, some teams that also needed new OCs and new defensive coordinators. The Browns also needed a coach because
they hired him.
Jackson, and they hired him, Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, they hired their offensive coordinator. So let's get into that since Lyle jumped the gun early like he always does.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's talk about the Browns signing of Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens came in after I believe who was the offensive coordinator before?
No, not Schiano.
Schiano. What the heck?
No,
sorry, in the league?
No, I have stuck in Ohio State one. Was it Williams? No, Williams was interim.
Greg Williams is the defensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator for the Browns was the guy who coached the Steelers.
I know, and that's why I'm drawing a blank because the Steelers.
The Browns, the offensive coordinator,
Todd Haley.
Yeah.
So Todd Haley, and Hugh Jackson were both going, and Freddie Kitchens comes in. What's the Saints guy's name again that you just mentioned?
Greg Schiano?
No, the head coach for the Browns. Who's the head coach for the remaining of the year?
Oh, Hugh Jackson.
No, man,
You're killing me.
Where the hell is your head at?
I don't even know.
So Freddie Kitchens was the offensive coordinator when Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley left, right?
Right.
So he basically gave them a predicament. He said, "Listen, you're not bringing me back as an offensive coordinator. You're either going to bring me back as a coach or I'm leaving." And I don't think the Browns made him the head coach because of that situation. I think he deserved the job.
He did a good job with that offense.
Yeah, I think Greg Williams will never be a head coach in the NFL ever since the incident that he did with the injury gate or whatever the situation was called.
He's also a volatile, raging asshole who has no people skills.
Yeah. So, Nick? What do you think about the Freddie Kitchens signing? You think it was a good move for the Browns to bring back their offensive coordinator after the Todd Haley firing?
I mean, it's gonna come down to molding Baker Mayfield and who they think that can propel him to the next level. Um, I guess it's a good signing. I don't really have much to say about it.
Lai, what about you?
Great signing. They got Baker look after Haley and Hugh left. Baker looked exponentially better. Baker's your future. You give him who he's comfortable with. He's comfortable with Kitchens. He's comfortable cooking with the Kitchens. It'll be a fun season next year.
Comfortable cooking with the Kitchens. I like that. But yeah, I think it's an awesome signing. I think you have to bring him back for another year or two as a head coach and just see what you could get out of him with Mayfield. Maybe him and Mayfield have hit it off. I mean, they have hit it off on the right track. So let's see. The next team we got here is Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay signs former Cardinals coach Bruce Arians. And not only that, apparently he's bringing Todd Bowles with him, who was just let go by the Jets, to be his defensive coordinator in Tampa Bay. Lyle, I'll start with you. What does this do for Jameis Winston moving forward?
So famous Jameis needs to look over his shoulder because the ghost of Kurt Warner is about to come back. I digress. No, but I think this will be good for Jameis if he stays.
He's staying. They already announced that they're bringing him back.
Bruce Arians is a very good coach. We saw what he did with those Cardinals teams. And Todd Bowles is a very good defensive coordinator because he was Bruce Arians' defensive coordinator when they were in Arizona. So again, it's just, we know what we're going to get there, and I think we're going to get the creation of a good team in the next couple of years. And I think Jameis, Bruce is not one to play games. Jameis needs to shit or get off the pot. This is your season to show that you're actually a number one draft pick, that you can play the quarterback in the NFL, or we're going to replace you with Fitzmagic again.
Bruce Arians has done some really good things with quarterbacks. Jameis Winston has shown amazing flashes that he could be an awesome quarterback in this league, but then he does things like the Uber situation or the 4 picks in a half type of things that make you take a step back and be like, well,
he gropes 3 people, throws interceptions. One day he throws nice interceptions and asks for consent the other day. Exactly. He needs to just ask for consent.
Yeah, so I think it'll bode well for Jameis Winston with the Bruce Arians signing. Now, Nick, I want to ask you, for fantasy football purposes, do you see the arrow pointing up on any of these players on the Tampa Bay offense now that Bruce Arians, an offensive-minded coach, is now going to be the coach there?
Well, I would assume that if Jameis Winston can get his act together, that this is a good thing, definitely trending upwards. If you look at Bruce Arians' past, he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Ben Roethlisberger. He was with Andrew Luck and the Colts. He had Carson Palmer and the Cardinals. Now, with all this in mind, and if you look at the Tampa Bay offense this year, they were still a very exciting offense to watch. They had Deshaun Jackson at times, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, like all these players.
O.J. Howard.
Chris Humphries, the list goes on, Goodwin, whatever. The weapons are there. And now if Jameis Winston can just get his act together in a high-powered offense, for fantasy purposes, this team can go off.
Yeah. So now here's my other question to you. So they have Peyton Barber, right? They drafted Ronald Jones Jr. out of USC. Who was disappointed. I think they drafted him in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. And then they had Jacquizz Rodgers or whoever else they have in that backfield. Now, Peyton Barber didn't run away with the job last year, and he kind of stunk it up. But the reason why he stayed the starter despite being so bad was because everybody else was so bad. Do you think, now Bruce Arians, as we know, you said it, Steelers always have good running backs. The Colts, and at times in the early years of Andrew Luck, they had very good receiving backs. Bruce Arians loves to have a third down back that could go out there and be a Le'Veon Bell type of person, a Bilal Powell, a Matt Forte, someone who could go out from the backfield and catch passes. Do you think this makes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the market for a running back this offseason, Nick? Or do you think they just ride it out with the 3 that they got and maybe bring someone in from the draft or maybe like a low-end free agency?
I'm not necessarily sure they go out and get. It depends who is in the market. Do they go out and get a superstar? Maybe. I think the supporting cast of wide receivers are high quality. Depending on what Jameis Winston can do, he can either be phenomenal or throw 4 picks a game. The thing that they're missing is possibly an upgraded offensive line and an old every down back. You get every down back, that offense gets propelled to the next level and is possibly unstoppable.
All right, cool. So the last thing, oh, actually not the last thing, so I'm prematurely laughing, but Arizona goes ahead and signs a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option for Cliff Kingsbury, former USC offense coordinator last year, who was also fired, and the former head coach and offensive coordinator for Texas Tech. He was fired mid-season by Texas Tech. USC calls him, tells him to come over, be our offensive coordinator, and he has a pretty good season there. The Jets actually wanted to you guys actually wanted to interview. Did you guys get a chance to interview him at all, or did that USC thing, like, did they prevent you guys like at all?
No, I'm pretty sure we sat down with him to at least pick his brain on, I guess, his offensive skills. I don't know.
Yeah, Lyle, what did you think about USC doing that to you guys, not allowing you guys to interview him at first?
I don't want him. I don't need him. Nope.
Well, of course you don't want him. You can't get him anymore anyways, even if you did.
I wouldn't. I'm glad he didn't come. I'm glad USC was like, nah. When you go 5-7 with Patrick Mahomes, take a walk, take a hike, take a march.
Yeah. He's known as like a quote unquote like quarterback guy. He dealt with quarterbacks like Davis Webb, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, and now Vincent Testaverde Jr., who you Jet fans know. Who his father was a legend with you guys.
Who can he take credit for? He might be able to take credit for a little bit of Bake. He can't take credit for Mahomes.
No, he could take credit for Mahomes.
He's going to take credit.
He could take all. No, he could take 5 and 7. Mahomes. He could 5 take and 7. You're absolutely right, but he could take all the credit in the world for Mahomes, because Mahomes is the reason why Webb and Mayfield transferred, because Kingsbury was riding with Mahomes as his starting quarterback. So you have to understand that, and I think he chose the best of the three, if we're being completely honest here.
Yeah,
so
but
you gotta give I don't like the signing though. I mean,
I don't like him.
You have to think about it. He just got fired as a head coach. Not even at the end of the season.
It's not even that. He's never played it down. He's never coached it down the NFL. He doesn't. It's a completely different level.
So you know why? You know, I have it. So I think. So we're just gonna rename this episode the J&J Talk Sports Podcast episode of theories, because I have a theory of my own right now.
Here we go.
I think a couple of years ago, okay, right before Sean McVay was hired as the Rams coach, that Kingsbury and McVay crossed each other's paths in a Starbucks. They both got the same latte with the same skim milk and the same amount of sugar in it, and they laughed about it for a few minutes. And because their eyes and their paths crossed that day, the whole NFL was seeking out Kingsbury, because if McVay is that good, what do you think someone who had a cup of coffee with him, how good do you think he's going to be in the NFL? So that's the only reason why I think Kingsbury was signed, was because him and McVay have crossed paths at one point in their lives.
It's wild. It makes no sense. And honestly, I don't want to waste time on this dude. Thank God he's gone, because now Vinny Testaverde Jr. can become the quarterback that he was destined to be. A journeyman who throws for 45,000 yards in his career, just like Vinny Testaverde.
Let's waste some time talking about the Jets then, since we're going to go that route. And boy, am I excited, because the Jets signed as of 2 hours ago that I sent it in the group chat, and Nick was like, STFU, like, shut the hell up. Like, no, we didn't. Oh my God, I'm so sick. We really did. It's like 10 minutes later. Nick, what are your feelings on this? Do you like the signing of Matt Nagy? And now apparently he's bringing his own offensive coordinator, who was the OC where? In Miami.
I don't like it. Because he wasn't successful with the Dolphins, with a young quarterback who he was supposed to be molding to be the next big thing. Granted, he was with, if memory serves me right, he was with Peyton Manning down in Denver when Peyton had that thing his career year. But Peyton's Peyton. Now we have Sam Darnold, who was basically in the same place that Ryan Tannehill was, and there was no improvement. And what we need is a quarterback, like a quarterback coach. We need somebody that's going to bring him to the next level. And I don't think that's Adam Gase.
Lyle, are you about to go wild?
I have to bright side it, and here's where I'm going to go with the bright side.
Don't do that, you fraud.
I have to, because he's brand new. I can't ruin his life. He's my coach next year. There's nothing I can do about that now. If maybe if McCann called me, he didn't call me this time, but whatever. I digress. Adam Gase, he's an offensive-minded coach. We just had a defensive-minded coach. He's more of a player's coach. We just had someone who's considered a little bit cold. Our offense was stagnant, disgusting. Jeremy Bates take a hike. He will actually let Darnold take risks, and when Darnold took risks, he had moments where he looked excellent. He had moments where he didn't. I think our offense could be much different. I think we're going to be a little bit more adventurous. I just hope to God that our defense can mature another year, and when we get into some trouble because Adam Gase is not the greatest, they can hold us up. And on the Darnold Tannehill thing, I personally never liked Tannehill coming out of college. I didn't think he was going to be that good. I think Darnold has a lot more of the physical skills and the mentality needed, especially when you hear about Tannehill crying that he's getting picked off by practice squad members. I don't think Tannehill and Darnold have completely different mentalities, and I think that's going to go a long way. So I think Gase might have more success because Darnold is a much different mental quarterback and has better physical skills. So I'm cautiously optimistic while murdering myself on the inside.
I absolutely love the signing by the Jets, and here's why. Gase has always been surrounded by good talent at the quarterback position. I mean, he's been blessed with it since he's been with the 49ers in the late 2000s with the run that they had, going to the playoffs. Then you had him, the offensive coordinator under John Fox in Denver, like Nick said, where he had Peyton Manning, and he was a big part of Peyton Manning's record-breaking year, in 2013. Then he goes to Chicago, where he has who at quarterback again? Jay Cutler, Josh McCown for a season. He had Mike Glennon.
Put some respect on Jay Cutler's name.
Yeah, smoking Jay Cutler. Yeah.
Well, he was there when Jay Cutler had his second best season, from what I've read.
Yeah, and
there are positive.
So those were his quarterbacks there in Chicago. And let's not forget that he was the quarterbacks coach for none other than Jets killer Tim Tebow. Okay, Tim Tebow was his quarterback when he was a quarterbacks coach. This guy hasn't been around a quarterback talent other than Peyton Manning. I mean, and all the other quarterbacks had potential. Now with Ryan Tannehill, I think you're both right, but both wrong on him. Both right on him in the sense that, yes, he hasn't really proven anything in the NFL to be a good quarterback. But I think you guys are wrong in the sense that Tannehill is actually I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I think he's better than Dalton, let's say. Okay, so however you feel about Dalton, I think Tannehill's a little bit better than that.
So he's slightly above average. Okay.
When Dalton was fully healthy, when Tannehill was fully healthy, the Dolphins went 10-6, and they lost in the wild card round against the Steelers. So Gase has had success with the Dolphins. It's not his fault that he hasn't had his quarterback healthy the last 2 seasons. I mean, he missed a whole season of Tannehill, and then he missed 8 games last year of Tannehill. So now he's coming to the Jets, and I think what the Jets don't need the coach then their next coach is going to win them a Super Bowl. They don't need that. Not even close. You guys don't even need that. You guys need that in 4 years from now. You guys need a coach who knows how to talk to quarterbacks, who knows how to coach quarterbacks, because you have a young one, Sam Darnold. And if Sam Darnold is the franchise quarterback that you guys want him to be, the quarterback that someone like me, I think he's going to end up being, if he's the franchise quarterback that you guys think all the world thinks he's going to be, then you want someone who's going to help him. That's why I think bringing in Adam Gase is going to help you guys. I think he'll be the best fit that, amongst the people that were available. Obviously, Harbaugh would have been a better choice, but you have a coach in Gase who's going to help the development of Darnold. And in 3 years from now, where Darnold is, the next Andrew Luck or whatever the case may be, and you're still not succeeding as a team, then okay, Gase, you did your job here, but it's time for you to go. We're bringing in a coach that's going to help win us the Super Bowl now. So that's why I love the move of signing Adam Gase. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
You do have a valid point. Granted, we're hoping that Darnold does trend to a franchise quarterback. We basically have all our eggs in his basket. And there was a season or two that Ryan Tannehill did show spark. Grant, I remember 2 years in a row, I think you drafted him as your quarterback in fantasy, expecting him to have that free release of just taking shots down the field and being the quarterback that everybody thought he could be. Darnold has a potential, and if Adam Gase can light the fire under him and get him going, then yeah, I agree with you. You have a valid point.
All right, let's talk about these playoff teams here now. So we had wild card weekend was this past week that just passed. We had some, I wouldn't say upsets, but you had a couple of the road dogs winning. You had the Colts winning on the road against the Texans 21-7. Seahawks on the road losing to the Cowboys 22-24. Chargers on the road beating the Ravens 23-17, and then the Eagles on the road defeating the Bears 16-15 on what the world is calling the double doinked missed field goal. So, yeah, so we had 3 road teams win a wild card week. I want to ask you guys, and Lau, I'll start off with you here first. What's one thing you're taking away from wild card weekend?
2 big things I'm taking away. The 2 biggest things, I'm going to talk about 2 losing teams. First, the Seahawks. Brian Schottenheimer is consistently one of the worst offensive coordinators in the league, and he proved it again in this lovely wildcard game because
it's all Pete Carroll's fault.
No, it's Brian Schottenheimer.
But Pete Carroll is the one that wanted to establish the run.
Yeah. But Brian Schottenheimer, for those of us Jets fans who remember our lovely shoddy years, is one of the worst offense coordinators to ever breathe the fresh green air. And the fact that you have Dangerous, you need to let him throw. He's your best player. He's your best offensive player.
Absolutely.
And they didn't. That's 1. And 2, Mitch Trubisky is still a year or 2 off from becoming that quarterback the Bears need him to be. Now, I know everyone wants to blame the kicker, but the kicker scored 9 points, and the Bears offense only put up 6. The kicker is the only piece of offense they had because Trubisky could not finish. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from that game is Trubisky is still 2 years off of being what he needs to be to push the Bears team forward.
But that Bears team, this is a Bears team. But this is a
Bears one drive,
one at a time.
If he finished one drive, that Eagles team loses. He had to finish one drive.
Right, but the Bears also allowed 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think it was an overall team loss. And then at the end of the day, Trubisky put his team in a situation to win the game. They missed it off the double doink.
It is a team loss, yes, but I think the Bears should have put them away earlier, especially with the stalled out drive that led to 3 field goals.
So those are the 2 things you're taking away from wild card weekend.
Two out of 30,000. Those are the 2 I think.
They were both boring options.
Very, very important.
Nick, what about you? What are you taking away from wild card weekend?
Going to Lau's point, I mean, people wouldn't even realize that Mitchell Trubisky was 26-43 for 303 yards and a touchdown. That game did not look like he threw for 303 yards. Now, should he have finished more touchdowns? I agree, yes. But as a quarterback, you put your team in a position to win a game. Cody Parker should have won that game for them. But going back, nothing really amazes me here. I kind of thought that Houston put up a better game than they did. And then it just goes to show that they are for real. And I think that going forward, they have a chance to beat the Chiefs, in my opinion. But we'll talk about it a little later. Are we talking about predictions yet or not yet?
Oh, we could definitely get into that. But what's one thing that you guys are leaving in wild card weekend? What's one thing that you're not trying to hear again?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
I don't want to hear his name ever again. He was completely exposed.
A little excessive there, huh?
No, he was terrible.
Lyle, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The youngest quarterback to ever start a playoff game was terrible. His bad. Oh, no. You're going to hear a lot about him because he's the new starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, and he did lead the team to 6-1 down the stretch and got them a playoff berth. But you know what? You're going to hear about him. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
you're
gonna
also
happen.
you're also gonna hear the fact that they wanted to put in Joe Flacco in that game and take Lamar Jackson out. But I
Well,
digress.
they should have, but that's a whole other story.
Did you guys hear that the brewery of Goose Island IPA in Chicago is hosting a 43-yard field goal not tournament but like an event
Challenge.
that
Yeah.
during the happy hour if you could go try for free, and if you make the 43-yard field goal you get beer for free for the rest of the year.
I respect it.
I've made an extra point once.
Yeah, so you need to go another 30 yards back. All right, so let's talk about these matches. But before we talk about these matchups, let me just take a quick look here. Actually, you know what? I have a little game I wanted to play with you guys. Let's do the matchups first. So we have the Colts, the first matchup of the weekend. We have the Colts traveling to Arrowhead Stadium. Nick, who do you got? Colts versus Chiefs. We're not talking spread here. We're just talking who's winning.
I want to say the Colts so bad, but I would still give it to Chiefs. Although I do think if the Colts play this game right and grind the ball, that they can hold off and beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
So like long drives,
using that, putting that offensive line to work, running and grinding the ball, they can possibly kill the clock and keep Mahomes off the field. That's the key. You got to keep Mahomes off the field.
La, who do you got this game?
God, it's playoff Andy Reid again. I'm giving it to the Chiefs, but I'm doing that with so much pain because it's playoff Andy Reid. We know what's going to happen. He's going to fizzle out. He does such great things. I really want him to win. He deserves a Super Bowl for all the great things he's done over his career. But yeah, Chiefs. But come on, Andy, don't break my heart on this one. Us big boys got to stick together.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs too. I'm gonna be cheering for the Colts to win. I think Andrew Luck has been an unsung hero this year. I think he's not getting any love, which is disrespect as an MVP this year, which I think he should damn well be in the conversation. People forget he has 39 passing touchdowns this year, which was the second most behind Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chiefs offense is too much. And I know the Colts offense is good and they shut down the Texans last week, holding them to 7 points. But let's be real. Who do the Texans have? The Texans have the worst offensive line in football. They have Deshaun Watson, who can be inaccurate at times. They doubled up and bracketed off. So basically triple team DeAndre Hopkins, forcing Kiki QT to have 14, 13 receptions, but he ain't going to be the one to beat you. So Chiefs offense has way too much firepower. Had they had Kareem Hunt, I think this would have been a no-brainer, but he's no longer on the team, and those backup running backs are good enough to get the job done, but not to make the difference in whether they win or lose. But regardless, Tyreek Hill's too fast. Kelsey is a bad man and probably the best tight end in football, and Patrick Mahomes does no-look passes. So I'm giving the edge to the Chiefs. The next game on Saturday is the night game at 8:15. We have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Los Angeles to versus the Rams.
Sorry, quick pause. Just a heads up. It is reported Kyler Murray is going to declare for the NFL draft, but he will choose baseball with the Oakland Athletics as his sport of choice.
How's he declaring for the draft?
He's choosing baseball. Is the moral of that story. Got
it. Okay, understood. So, Lau, who do you got in this game? Cowboys traveling to LA versus the Rams.
LA.
And why do you have that?
The Seahawks should have beat the Cowboys. Secondly, Dak is not good.
Okay.
Thirdly,
we'll talk more about that.
Thirdly, the Cowboys defense, I mean, they're better than we all thought they would be, but they will not be able to hold up against a rested, healthy Gurley. Jared Goff masterminding the McVay offense, and Dallas just does not have the talent to compete with the Rams. I'm sorry. And if you're gonna defend Dak, I'm gonna mute you. I'm muting you.
All right, Nick, quickly, who do you got this game?
I'm gonna go with the LA Rams. There's just not enough offense for the Cowboys to keep up with the Rams. And honestly, from the Rams' perspective, I would just stack the box, contain Zeke Elliott, and dare Dak Prescott to go over the top with Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and just challenge him. He's honestly hasn't been a threat all year.
Yep.
Why question him now?
So I don't have I don't think Dak is good enough to win without Amari Cooper being a benefactor in the game. Now you're gonna have Talib, who's probably gonna be on Cooper, and if that's the case, now you're looking at having to throw the ball to
They're having
Darwin or Cole Beasley
Marcus
or
Peters on Amari Cooper this weekend.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then Amari Cooper's going to cook, and Dak Prescott's probably going to have a pretty good game because Marcus Peters has become one of the most overrated corners in all of football. Sunday, the first game at 1:00 is I can't wait for this one.
Is that the Chargers?
It's the Chargers. It's the Chargers traveling to the Patriots. Man, you think you
I'm scared for this game.
You think you could get Lee to meet up with us and watch this game in person with him?
Maybe. He might be secluded in a hole with one of those like mini like crank TVs. But if you're asking me, Chargers are winning this. Philip Rivers does not go out without beating the Patriots.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
I got that happening too. I got this happening too.
No, you guys are way too decisive on this one. It's going to be very
downfall. The downfall of Brady.
I'm not too sure about that one. It's going to
be. It started with Josh Gordon going back to rehab.
It's going to be very cold. It's going to be very cold. It may snow. Philip Rivers struggled against the Baltimore Ravens a few weeks ago in cold weather.
Well, Ravens are the best defense in football.
But I'm saying he came out and said, "I'm cold." Like, where's I don't know. But in a snow game in New England, you gotta give it to Brady.
It's the Chargers year.
There's also another stat. I think Philip Rivers is 0 for 5 when heading to New England, and I think he's 0 for 7 when just playing Brady.
That means it's time. This is his moment. He's overdue. That's what. Yeah. God, I can't. Ugh.
All right, so let's talk about this last game of the playoff weekend. It's the 4:40 game on Sunday. It's the Eagles traveling to New Orleans to verse the Saints. Nick, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Saints just because Drew Brees is Drew Brees, and I think they have a chip on the shoulder from last year. Although I think it's gonna be a more difficult game. I think Phil's defense is coming to play this time. In the regular season, if I'm not mistaken, didn't New Orleans destroy the Eagles? I think it was like 42-9, 42-8, something like that.
It was a pooping.
Yeah. I just think that the Eagles are coming. This is a pride game for them. They felt disrespected. They felt that the Saints were going to have to score on them. There's definitely going to be a lot of, let's say, physical altercations this game. But I give it to the Saints. Drew Brees and the Saints.
Saints, no need for further comment.
Yeah, I think it's the Saints for me too. Even though the Eagles do worry me a little bit, I do think the Saints will win. All right, pause a little bit there so allow you to have enough time to cut it out. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna rank. I'll say it again so you can put it in the podcast so people could know what we're talking about.
All right.
We're gonna rank the confidence level that we have of the remaining quarterbacks.
Like, are we saying the quarterbacks with their teams, or if I had a team that was
all situations right now, right? Yeah. So like,
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Okay, so I'll start off, right? So I'm gonna rank the quarterbacks from 8 to 1, in which I have confidence in the quarterback to lead their team to victory.
You're talking about the playoff quarterbacks?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so got you.
My number 8 quarterback is gonna be Jared Goff.
All right. No, so like I get the format, so let's just record it.
Okay.
Wait, 8 being weakest and 1 being strongest, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes because I want to write mine down too.
So just their confidence level, or their
not what you think their confidence level is. What's your confidence level in that specific quarterback that quarterback can help their team win?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I know my order, but I just want to make sure I got it right. I did it earlier, but
I got it. The fuck? Write the quarterbacks down.
I'll write them down, but
Brady.
Don't copy me, bro.
I'm just writing the names. I'm not actually ranking them.
I'm ranking them.
All right. Breeze. Brady, Rivers, Goff, Dak, Breeze, Foles. I'm surprised you didn't put Foles last. Don't put fucking Dak last. There's no way he has any confidence. It's trash.
That's what I'm saying. He's last. Also, stop commenting. Just God.
He said stop copying you?
No, stop Just let me write my things.
Hurry up and write golf. Golf has been doo-doo lately. Mahomes, Brady, Rivers, Golf, Dak, Breeze, Foles. What am I missing? Oh, Luck. Oh, Luck has fucking shitload of confidence with that offensive line.
It's not about the team. It's like if you had your team and you had whatever players you had, which quarterback would you want?
Wait, does it matter who they're playing?
Take everything into consideration. Take everything into consideration. What's your confidence in that quarterback leading their team to victory?
This week,
basically, if you had to play a playoff game this weekend, who do you want on quarterback in order? Put it that way.
I think you gotta go Brady number 1, bro. That dude.
All right, let me know when you guys are ready.
Ready?
Hold on 1 second.
I gotta pee. I'm either gonna pee now or after. Hurry up.
No, you can go now.
All right, be right back. I'm back. All right, let's do this. Well, I was such a copycat. Oh, I can't hear you guys. Is Justin talking? I can't hear him.
I finished mine before you, bro.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You were still writing golf when I finished.
Okay.
You spelled golf wrong too. You were like G off.
All right.
Why are you mad, bro?
Because you don't know how to read. Because ours are completely different.
I'm fucking with you.
You can't read. It's concerning.
I'm kill. We still can't hear you, bro. We still can't hear you, bro.
Did you mute your...
We still can't hear you, bro.
Bro.
We still can't hear you, bro. We still can't. Nope. Not audible. Nope. Just use a regular headset, bro. Let's see how it sounds like. What did he do? Yo, just unmute yourself.
He started masturbating. Must have dislodged something.
All right, you hear me?
There we go.
What about now?
Yes, we got you.
What were you tapping?
Nothing. I just switched the settings to the computer and then back to the snowball.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
So 5.
Who's going first?
I'm gonna say what it is. I'm gonna explain what the situation is, and you guys could choose who goes first. Ready?
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2. All right. So to end this podcast, I have a little fun game I want to play with you guys. Not really a fun game, but I want to know your ranking. So There's 8 teams left in the playoffs. There's 8 quarterbacks left, right? I want us to rank from 8 to 1, 8 being the worst or the least amount, and then 1 being the most or the most amount or the highest. What's your confidence level in the remaining 8 quarterbacks in the playoffs? Basically, your power rankings of the quarterbacks. Take their team into consideration, how good their offense is, how good their defense is, their matchup, where they're playing, the weather. Take all this stuff into consideration. What's your confidence level in that quarterback winning this weekend, the remaining 8? Fellas, who's going to go first?
Do you want to do like 1 by 1, or you want to do like all?
Yeah, all right. So let's do. So Nick, who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Dak Prescott.
Lau, who's your number 8?
His Royal Dactus, Dak Prescott.
Okay. Who's my number 8 is
I think you said
Jared Goff. Jared Goff is my number 8. Why is Dak both of yours number 8?
Well, just don't think he's that good, and considering that
he's not a good quarterback.
Okay, so I have the least amount of confidence in Goff because we saw him digress drastically towards the ending of the season. And when they don't get a running game going, Goff is not good as a strictly passer. He needs to have play action. If he can't have play action with Gurley a little bit banged up against a Cowboys defense that knows how to play and stop the run, I have the least amount of confidence in Goff. My number 7th, or my second least confidence quarterback, is Nick Foles. Lau, what about you?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
All right, so I think we all have the same reason there. Listen, what he's been able to do with the Eagles has been magical, has been cool. I think he's going to get a good payday this offseason. I think he's a legit starter in this league, but I think the magic stops this weekend in New Orleans. Lau, who's your number 6 quarterback?
Goff.
And Nick, I'm guessing you have Goff as well.
Goff, yeah.
So at 6, I actually have Mahomes. And this is because the offense has slowed down for the Chiefs. And although I do like them to win this weekend against the Colts, I think it's more so because the playmakers are going to be making plays for Mahomes. And Mahomes is not going to feel as pressured to perform this game unless Andrew Luck comes in gunning, which you'll see how much confidence I have in Luck later. Nick, who's your 5th quarterback on your list?
My 5th quarterback is Philip Rivers. Mainly, I love Philip Rivers. He was my number 1 guy in the season. Not number 1 guy. Statistically, I'm just saying. But going into Gillette Stadium with the weather as cold as it's going to be, taking the fact that it may snow into consideration, you got to give Brady the edge in that one. And leaving him at number 5 for me.
Wow.
Patrick, first playoff game of all time with Andy Reid as his coach, Mahomes.
So why do you have him at 5?
First playoff game of his career. It's an Andy Reid team, so anything can happen. So I'm a little nervous for Patrick Mahomes.
So more or less, okay, so you have Mahomes at 5. I have him at 6. So more or less, we're pretty much the same.
Well, here's the thing. So like my first 3, my 8, 7, and 6 are very far away from my 1 through 5. My 1 through 5 are close together in my confidence. I still have a high confidence in Mahomes, but he's 5th out of the remaining quarterback.
Okay, so 5th for me is Brady. I don't think that the Patriots have enough weapons on offense. I know the Chargers like to allow the running back position to receive the ball a lot, and with James Wright and Burkhead and Michelle, Brady's gonna have to rely on those running backs. But I can see they don't have a power running game, and I can see the Chargers doing the same thing that they did to the Ravens last week and starting 7 DBs against a Brady offense that has a slow Edelman, an old Gronk, a Chris Hogan. Oh, yeah, please bite me. And then running backs to come out the backfield. I think they're going to have a hard time trying to score. Therefore, I have at least not as much confidence in Brady as you guys may have to win this game this week.
They have Josh Gordon.
Who?
Too soon. They have John Jones.
So I think if the Patriots do pull out this game, I think they put up maybe 20 points. Brady doesn't have a great game, but that defense does what the defense does.
I think that's all that's going to be needed, though.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a low-scoring grinder game.
I don't think you're going to need Brady to be Brady-like to win this game, hence why I haven't ranked where I have him. What about 4th? So we're up to number 4, right? So who do you guys have 4th on your list?
Andrew Luck.
P. Daddy Rivers.
P. Daddy Rivers. Nick, why do you have Luck at 4?
Again, I feel like this is a game where Andrew Luck could make the difference. Granted, we all have the Chiefs winning the game, but I feel like behind that offense, I'm very confident in the offensive line. I'm very confident what Andrew Luck can do behind that O-line.
Right.
And that's why I'm loving Andrew Luck.
Okay, and Lau, you have Rivers. I also have Rivers at 4. To be honest, I had the same amount of confidence in him that I do Brady.
Yeah.
I would flip-flop them back and forth, to be honest. I had Brady at 5, Rivers at 4. I would have Rivers at 5 and Brady at 4. Same reasons as Nick has him lower in his rankings. Lyle, who do you have at 3?
It's Brady. Again, it's close. Brady Rivers I have with that little flip-flop.
Got it. So you had them like on a little flip-flop. Nick, who do you have at 3?
My third is Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh, so you're the highest amongst all of us. Why are you confident in him? Are you the reason why I don't have confidence in Mahomes is because I feel like his team would do a lot more work than he's going to be needed. Why do you feel so confident in him?
But again, I feel like that's something you got to take into consideration here. Even if Mahomes starts maybe making a few mistakes, I feel like his team is going to be able to pick him up. And I feel like as this game was to consider all things being, and I think that team, all the weapons around him, will protect them to most likely victory.
So you have more confidence in Mahomes than you do Luck.
Yeah. Don't we all have Mahomes technically the winner of that game?
So if you flip-flopped and put Mahomes on the Colts and Luck on the Chiefs, who would you have more confidence in?
Oh, man. I'd probably go Luck.
I'd probably go Luck regardless. I'd probably go Mahomes with that offensive line, what he could do. Lyle, who did you have at 3 again? Brady, right?
Rage.
Okay, so I had Dak Prescott at 3.
Get out.
Third most confidence.
Get out. Just leave. Go. Get out of here.
I hate the Cowboys. I'm the first one to say it, but I watched their games from the start to the end, through it all, because I love nothing more than to see every NFC East team lose when it's not the Giants. The thing with Dak, and you got to give credit where credit's due, his rookie year in 2016, he had an amazing playoff game. An amazing program in which, Dallas went on to lose, but he completed 24 38 passes. He had 3 passing touchdowns with 1 into, and he only allowed 2 sacks for a total of 11 yards. Not only that, but he also rushed for 1 touchdown that year. Then you go and see what he did against Seattle. You mean to tell me Dak did not win that game for Dallas? Yes. The offensive play calling for Seattle was bad.
I do mean to tell you that.
But with the way that Dak has played Week 17 against the Giants, and then comes in and dominates and runs the ball and scores touchdowns, rushing and passing, now you're telling me Nick just came out and said Marcus Peters is going to be guarding Cooper? Do you know how many points the Rams allow at home on average? Anybody want to take a guess?
A lot.
Okay, a lot.
31.
31 that would be the most in the league. But no.
Wait, how many points do they score at home?
I don't care about what they score.
The only thing that matters is the wins.
They score 28. They allow 28 points per game. The Rams offense hasn't been the same. And this Cowboys defense, you saw what they did with the Saints. And they stopped the run. They do not allow anyone to establish the run on them. So you mean to tell me the Rams are going to have to just be a full-on pass without Cooper Kupp, with Jared Goff, who I have the least amount of confidence in? I have full confidence that Dak Prescott will do everything in his power to put his team in a situation to win. If they don't win, and he has an amazing game, I still don't feel bad. I won't take it back and rank him number 3. That's just how I feel. I watched Dak Prescott. I don't think he's a great quarterback by any means. But in the playoffs, you've seen it with 2 games. I know it's a small sample size, but in the 2 games that he's played as a playoff quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys team, he's been unbelievable. Unbelievable as a playoff.
Within the first half hour of that game, you're going to hear chants, "We want Romo."
Yeah,
from the Dallas faithful.
If the Cowboys had Romo last week, they would have fumbled a couple of times. So I highly doubt that. Lyle, how about you shut up and give me a number 2 quarterback?
Number 2 is my boy, Andrew, Civil War general for the North, Luck.
I have Andrew Luck there too. I think he's playing the best football of all these quarterbacks. He's finished the year the hottest, the best. He has the best offensive line. Quentin Nelson is
It's not
You
just
look-
him.
you-
Both of the rookies on that line.
Well, yeah, but you look at Quentin Nelson, and he looks like a Care Bear. But then, like in Goosebumps, how the Care Bears like look at you all nice, and then all of a sudden they turn into like these evil little things. That's exactly what Quentin Nelson is, because he looks like the nicest guy in the world, but he just pancakes people. Like he is. If he worked at IHOP, he'd make the most pancakes. That's basically what it is.
Boo. But here's my thing with the Colts. They have a run game. They have an offensive line. And people forget Andrew Luck, out of all of the quarterbacks in the NFL, in my opinion, Andrew Luck might be the smartest out of all of them. He has the ability to break down defenses mentally before he even snaps the ball. He's in my top 3 of most talented quarterbacks when healthy in the NFL.
Let's be real here. Nick, who before we go into what I was about to say, who's your
Drew
number 2?
Brees.
Okay, so that makes Brady your number 1, and that makes Breeze mine and Lyle's number 1.
Breeze's juice.
Okay, all right. So, okay, that ending makes sense then. If I told you that the Eagles beat the Saints, would you guys be surprised?
Yes.
If I told you that the Cowboys beat the Rams, would you guys be surprised?
Yes.
If I told you that the Chargers beat the Patriots, would you guys be surprised?
No.
No.
No, you wouldn't?
Nope. Chargers are winning that game.
Okay. My next point. Would you be surprised if the Colts beat the Chiefs?
Hell no. It's
I
an
would-
Andy
I would
Reid
be-
playoff team.
I would be less surprised in the Colts winning than the Chargers winning, to be honest. I would be more surprised if the Chargers won.
Really?
Nick, I mean, you've been arguing it the whole time. The Chargers Rivers is 0-7 against Brady.
He's in the cold.
They're in there in the cold. I would be more surprised if the Chargers won than if the Colts won. If the Colts won, I would not be surprised one bit, because you have the hottest quarterback, the best offensive line, and I think Luck right now is playing on another level. There's no quarterback right now that's on his level at this moment. Mahomes was on that level in the beginning of the season. Breeze was on that level in the beginning of the season. So was Goff. But those quarterbacks have digressed the second half, whereas Luck had just turned it up. Do you remember how many touchdown passes? Remember, this team started off 1-5.
And
Luck
then
Luck had like 2 touchdown passes and like 5 interceptions in the first like 6 games, and then they just turned it up. That's why Luck is up there for me. Last take of the night, fellas. Who's your favorite right now to go to the Super Bowl? Like the number 1 team that you had to put your money on that will make it.
that like with my heart or with my head?
If you had to put $20 on it,
If I had to put 20, oh god. If I had to put $20,
like you want to win it, but you don't care if you pick a homer pick.
It's the New Orleans Saints. That's like that's my smart money.
Nick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's
my
smart money.
and that's exactly why I asked it. I feel like if we all had to put money on just one team, not both sides, just one team to make the Super Bowl, I think we will all pick the Saints.
Now, if you ask me what team I want to win, I want Andy Reid to get a Super Bowl, or I want Phillip Rivers to get a Super Bowl. No one else deserves it. Breeze got his Super Bowl. Luck
I would
can
love
wait
to
a year.
see Chargers Rams. I think that'll be awesome. Like LA versus LA. Maybe
And
I'll
do you know what's
maybe I'll
great?
wake up those basketball teams to start doing better.
Nobody shows up to that game because they don't have any fans in LA.
Ooh, shots fired. Anyways, that will do it for our latest episode of J&J Talk Sports. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at J&J Talk Sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Remember, follow us at J&J Talk Sports on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at EasyPalizzi_21. That's easy. POLIZZI_21. Nick, where can our wonderful listeners follow you on Twitter?
All the beautiful ladies and gentlemen can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stefanoun. That is STEPHANOUN. And for our wonderful Lyle, where can our followers, viewers, listeners can find you?
Our lovely listeners, be they man, woman, non-binary, or fluid, can all follow me at Lyle Style, LYLESSTYLE. That's going to do it for us this evening. You stay classy, sports fans.
Later.